Hey YouTube. I just got off work and let's pull in the all-nighter because I got to work at 8 hours anyway, so yeah. If I fall asleep now, odds are I won't wake up again until whatever, so I want to be sure I'm on time for work. It's a big priority of mine right now, making sure I'm on time for work every day when I need to work, so. So I started working on my fifth CD. Um, just putting together different songs. I'm not cranking out my every day like I used to because, quite frankly, I'm out of ideas. So I got some ideas what I want to do for a CD, but nothing's really sticking. So Christmas is right around the corner, and um, holy crap, dude! It's already almost Christmas. Jesus, man, where'd the time go? Time's just going. Meow. Um, I love to go and visit Stephanie for Christmas. I think it'd be freaking awesome. But I don't know what my family's plans are yet, so you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be like, because I didn't get a chance to spend Thanksgiving with my family. I was spending it with Stephanie. So, and they did the usual, you know, they went to the water park and stuff like they do every year. So they called and said it was weird without me. I'm like, yeah, I bet it is. Yeah. But anyway, something I've noticed with these shootouts in our country, it tends to have a pattern, if you will. Crazy, socially awkward asshole, doesn't fit in, socially awkward, blah blah blah, teased, picked on, blah blah blah, no one understands him or her, whatever. Red flag, red flag, red flags, boom, he does it. And then everyone's all shocked. Like, seriously? Um, and sometimes, too, bad parenting, you know, does that kind of thing, too. Like, sexual abuse and shit like that. And, but at the same time, people go, well, you shouldn't blame the parents for the kid's actions. No, you shouldn't. Because even though the kid's been emotionally fucked up, he's so responsible. He or she's so responsible for their actions. And it's not just shootings in our country; it's violent, murderous crimes. And fuck, man, it's just crazy, you know. And people want to blame the mass media and the video games, and it's just society trying to use a scapegoat to realize, oh shit, we fucked up. We let this go under the radar again. So, time and time again, we've seen this happen with our country, these shootouts, these mass murders, and the same thing's going to happen. All the usual suspects are to blame: the guns, the media, the video games, the music, whatever. And just, it just concerns me because, quite frankly, you're pinning blame on things that don't cause shootouts. They don't. Quite frankly, a lack of caring, you know what I'm saying? We hear a lot of schools preach about zero tolerance policy for harassment, and do they practice it? No. Now, what does this have to do with my fifth CD? Well, I'm working on a song right now called Society Creates Killers, and It's an intellectual song about how society, like I mentioned, tends to, yeah. And something I thought about doing was taking a news segment from one of the school shootings, like the Columbine, and putting in the song, adding like a little bit of echo to it to make it more intense, you know, to further enhance my point. And while I was watching this, one of the videos here, let's see, just watching these documentaries and just, holy shit. Okay, this is History Day 2011 documentary, Columbine High School Massacre. And a lot of these comments are, I kind of sorry they did this because I'm being picked on, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Holy shit, dude. In fact, one comment, bullying will never stop. It can get smaller, but won't stop. There's always going to be people hating life, friends, or family, and take it out on their things, but never should be over across the line to actually kill a human. They have families too, and a life. You can't go taking that away. I agree with that. I play Call of Duty every day, and I never kill or shot anyone. Some of the comments too were mentioning how they still get bullied in school by the jocks and what have you, and they're part of the social clique, if you will, the social pyramid in high school, which is just complete bullshit. And the thing that gets me about this entire thing is that teenagers, you know, growing up, going through similar things, puberty, peer pressure, high school drama, bullshit at home, bullshit at school, no one understands me, woe is me, whatever. And so they find ways to fit in, you know, be it football or drama club or computers, and that's how they have friends, you know, that's how they survive high school. That's my theory anyway. And high school is tough, man, it really is, you know what I'm saying? And if you're going through the same shit everyone else is going through, then why are you picking on them? You know, 'cause someday you're going to either end up at the end of a gun, at the end of a barrel of a gun, because that fucker's going to come back and shoot you, or lesser of the scenarios of where you could end up working for that person you picked on. So, or they're going to end up doing better in life than you are because karma's a bitch. So anyway, I'm going to play the video and turn it down. There we go.
The year is 1999. Welcome to Littleton, Colorado, a quiet little suburb in the heart of America, the birthplace of South Park. It was completely turned upside down, but we'll get to that in a moment. For now, America was a great place to be. Everybody was excited for the 20th century. 9/11 was 2 years away, and Columbine High School, just a good little place for our children.
This documentary is 9 minutes and 56 seconds long, so...
Until two troubled students made the ultimate decision.
Jefferson County 911. Yes, I am a teacher called by high school. There is a student here with a gun. He was shot out a window. I believe one
all you heard is like firecrackers, and then I looked out the window, and there was a kid with a trench coat and a shotgun throwing pipe bombs in the parking lot, and then he shot a girl outside.
Down under the table, kid! Hands under the table! Kids are screaming.
April 20th, 1999. At 6 in the morning, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold went bowling. They were just taking the bowling class for physical education credit. They didn't really care for the sport and mostly just fooled around. After bowling, they went to Columbine High School. They were both seniors there. They walked inside the school cafeteria with 2 duffel bags and put them under a table and returned to their car. And at 11:17 a.m., when the propane bombs they placed failed to explode, they entered the school armed to the teeth with a high-capacity pistol, 2 shotguns, and a rifle. A small group of students saw the pair and walked on, laughing, thinking the guns were props part of a senior prank. They were the first victims.
What sounded like firecrackers, and so we looked over and we saw some guys with guns creeping around a corner. and we thought it was like a senior prank or something, so we just kept watching to see what they were going to do.
That was smart.
When the gunfire stopped less than an hour later at 12:08 p.m., 15 were dead, 24 injured, and Eric and Dylan had shot themselves.
Jesus Christ.
So what made Eric and Dylan do what they did? The media pounced on an explanation. The public wanted one. Everyone pointed to the usual suspects.
The usual, yeah.
Fear, anger, helplessness.
Bullies, prosecutors say.
Computer and video games under fire because of graphic violence and sexual themes.
Relentless activity.
Why wasn't someone blaming bowling for warping the minds of Eric and Dylan to commit their evil deeds?
Violent video games the boys played before going on their real-life rampage.
Violence in video games has
The thrill of victory.
Drugs.
Shock rocker. Marilyn Manson.
Violent video games. Do violent video games have an adverse effect on the players?
Violent movies.
Dodge this.
Angry, heavy metal, subculture, entertainment.
Face it.
Video games.
Television.
Cartoons.
Film. Society.
Boy, God.
Soft porn.
Marilyn Manson.
Everybody want to know what the kids was listening to. And what kind of music was they listening to? Or what kind of movies was they watching? Who gives a what they was watching?
The video game industry.
Where were the parents?
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson has canceled the last 5 days of his U.S. tour out of respect for those lost in Littleton. But the singer says artists like himself are not the ones to blame.
No shit. Yeah.
But what about inside the school? Analysis of Columbine reveals a power much more influential than Marilyn Manson or video games or bowling: the students. Forget about the Breakfast Club or Fast Times. Student interviews and investigations revealed that Columbine was a community of oppression.
I get egged on by bastards who hate me, and the principal's a dick.
Jocks, cheerleaders, and socias commanded the top, while goths, nerds, and outcasts rotted at the bottom. Eric and Dylan were the perfect example of the very bottom of the social ladder, and as a result were subject to harsh bullying by the jocks. They felt trapped and vented on their websites, which were full of rants and attacks. The internet was in its infancy, so no one noticed, but Eric and Dylan were, in essence, ticking time bombs. But what made Eric and Dylan different from the others? After all, it's just like advocate Joan Burton said, lots of kids are angry and feel disaffected, but they don't go blow their classmates away. So why did Eric and Dylan do just that? Some believe it was because they were psychotic. In fact, Eric did have a history of mental illness. Dylan, on the other hand, did not. There's a psychiatric syndrome called folie à deux, French for madness shared by two, which may explain how Eric's delusions may have passed over to Dylan and strengthened both their resolves. Other school shootings were isolated, impulsive incidents carried out by a single student. But Eric and Dylan had each other, and combined with the toxic social climate of Columbine, their easy access to weapons, the blind eye of the school administrators, and their own anger, they were able to methodically plan for a whole year. Using instructional books like The Anarchist's Cookbook and internet videos, they built 99 pipe bombs and tested propane bombs. In fact, Columbine was not intended as a shooting, but rather a mass bombing, and if Eric and Dylan had wired 2 propane bombs in the cafeteria correctly, there would have been over 600 casualties. They also were able to easily get guns through friends and local gun shows, powerful weapons like the high-capacity Tech-9 and the Ruger Mini-14, and 2 other shotguns. They even bragged on their website that they would inflict the most deaths in U.S. history. Eric and Dylan wanted something far more than fame and attention, though. According to Dave Cullen, author of Comprehending Columbine, they wanted to create a nightmare to permanently align their names with infamy in front of the world. 15 dead and 24 wounded later, they got what they wished for. After Columbine, a wave of panic and fear spread across American school districts. It seemed everyone became that much more afraid of teenagers.
And, I got in the elevator, right? I'm getting in the elevator, and these 2 high school white boys tried to get on with me. And I just dove off. I said, y'all ain't killing me. I am scared of young white boys.
With panic came debate, and with debate came policies. Some of these were successes. Schools now have more anti-bullying programs and have invested more in counselors and psychologists. Police policy was improved due to Columbine as well. When gunmen are reported, police were previously trained to set up a perimeter to surround the area and wait for SWAT. Now they are trained to move towards gunfire and ignore the injured in an effort to neutralize the gunman as quickly as possible. This tactic was first implemented in the Virginia Tech massacre. Police even ignored a sign on a chain door warning of a bomb.
As this student's appearance demonstrates, having a lax policy about dress makes it easy for a student to conceal a weapon and makes it difficult to identify intruders on campus. A dress code can reduce weapons violations, relieve tensions between gangs, reduce disciplinary infractions, and generally improve the atmosphere of the school. Our policy requires that students tuck in their shirts, making the belt line visible at all times. Our students may not wear baggy pants or colors and insignias that are commonly associated with gang activities.
Okay, so quick thought on that. You think that just because that you make students who go to school who are in gangs, you know, lessen the activity of gangs as far as hate goes? No, you can't. Because it goes much deeper than just what color you represent, or, you know what I'm saying? If there's history with that gang as far as beef goes, then, you know, that's going to go way beyond school dress policy. And this guy just pulls out several guns, pistols, and Uzi, and a shotgun. Holy Jesus, dude. How the hell do you walk with that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
This policy was a collaborative effort between the parents, teachers, and administrators in this community.
The tragedy of Columbine led to success and triumph, but with success comes failure. Zero-tolerance policies implemented by several school districts in panic have caused unnecessary and harmful controversy. These policies prohibit and punish any behavior remotely deemed threatening or violent, and have repeatedly overstepped common sense.
Boy was suspended for 10 days for bringing a nail clipper to class. That's a weapon, his school said.
An elementary school suspended a first grader for pointing a chicken strip at a teacher in the cafeteria. The 8-year-old was fooling around with a friend at lunch last week when he pointed a breaded chicken finger at a teacher and then said, "Pow, pow."
Pointed a folded piece of paper like this one, shaped like a gun, and told his classmates he was going to kill them during a game of cops and robbers.
All around the nation, a wave of panic slammed its way into the schools. Surveillance cameras, metal detectors. Some schools even distributed mandatory clear or mesh backpacks for their students. Student lockers were also removed so kids couldn't hide their guns. Security guards were hired, dress code was tightened. And nothing happened. Today, high schools are different. There is less bullying, social outcasts worry less about getting beat up in locker rooms. Adults are more concerned than ever about the safety of their kids. But Columbine has shown that a few people can still slip through the cracks. Each time a tragedy like this happens, we become shocked because our seemingly foolproof safety net failed. But each time we are also shocked at how blatant the warning signs were. Pretty ironic. No matter how much we try, the question of another Columbine is unfortunately not one of if, but when. But maybe we can be more prepared. Maybe we can understand Eric and Dylan.
You know, my best advice that I can give you, or my 2 cents I should say, is that if you have a friend and you guys are being picked on in school, you know what I'm saying? And you got a group of friends that are being picked on, you know, get together and talk about it, man. You know, try out one of the other's house, play Xbox, you know, excuse me, and just, you know, talk it over, and because this shit happens all the fucking time in this country, and it's astonishing that we hear a lot about why they think they did it, or, well, we can, you know, try to relate to these guys, but it's like one YouTuber said, bullying, it will never go away. It will get smaller, but it will never go away, because we're still going to need some asshole, you know, talking shit. So... Okay, this is, sorry. This is the comment I was talking about. I think, let's see. At the end where they say high schools are now different, a better place, that isn't true. At his high school, him and other outcasts are still getting beaten up by dumb-ass cocky jocks. Nothing has changed, and bullying will never disappear, and unless someone sorts the jocks out, people will crack as Eric and Dylan did. That was the comment I was talking about. Someone responds with, I agree, unless teachers stop being pussies and start taking responsibility for their students and discipline the bullies with a punishment like a week's worth of detentions, and there is more justice, bullying will not stop. I know this from experience because I was bullied and the administration didn't do enough to stop it. His mother went into school to ask him what's being done about this, and they never gave her a satisfactory answer. He says they felt like he wanted to belt them. Yeah. And you know what? It was the same thing with me too. I mean, when I was bullied in school, my dad went in there and say, "Hey, what's the deal here? Why is my son being picked on? I thought you guys, had your zero tolerance policy or harassment thing." And they didn't do shit about it, And then they turn around and get pissy and butthurt when shit like this happens. I understand, because it's a tragedy, but at the same time, you could have prevented it, because history has shown that when shit like this happens, sometimes it gets a little carried away and crosses that fine line, and people start dying, How many bodies are going to pile up on a school system's conscience before they realize, oh, gee, maybe we should take bullying more seriously like we say we do? I'm not trying to be a dick here, I'm just sharing with you my opinions. I think bullying can be stopped, well, not like necessarily stopped, but at least somewhat more combatable with people who just want to deal with this shit more rationally. But and I've been on that side of the street, bullied and whatnot, and it sucks. And as a kid, you have to trust somebody or something when they say, hey, you have the right to harassment for education and harassment for this and that and blah, 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 and then you turn around, you walk down the street or down the hallway, and some kid's getting stuffed in his locker, given a wedgie, and teachers ain't doing shit about it, That kid comes to school a month later, he's still being bullied and shit up the place. And then, lo and behold, they're going, oh gee, we saw the signs, we didn't do anything about it. The fuck, man? In fact, right around Halloween time of this year, NC, the school at NC, one of the local Casper schools down the street here, or actually it's not down the street, it's kind of way the fuck over there, was they found a note of these students written up a list of people they wanted to kill at school, and like that they reacted. They found the people who wrote the note, and they were in jail now. And you know what? If you're going through similar shit, hey, I know it sucks, alright? But hear this. Killing them's not gonna solve the goddamn thing. You want to get even with them? I understand that. I understand that urge, that need to feel powerful over your bullies. I understand that. But killing them's not the answer. Now, if you have friends who are going through this similar shit too, you can just talk to them. Don't be like, oh my god, you're gonna shoot the police. Please don't do that. You've seen the news, right? No, don't be like that, Just be like, hey man, you're looking kind of depressed. You want to talk about it, And sometimes it's just a matter of they think no one cares, so that makes it more easy for them to just go and blow their classmates away, because if no one cares, they're not going to care either. Showing that someone cares, you know what I'm saying? It might make a difference. No. This has to do with my fifth CD. And the thing that gets me about society in general is that every time a school shooting happens or something tragic like that, you know, it's always the same response. People looking for answers. Well, we've been given the answers, and it's been proven time and time again what causes it. Now, the thing is, this is what gets me about our society is that they shouldn't have to crack down on bullying so hard. It should just be an automatic thing. The golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. But at the same time, respect is earned, not given. You know, and just seriously, you play football. Does that make you better than everyone else in the school? Well, everyone pays attention to me. I'm just honestly, you know. You know, something to consider too is that maybe the bullies have been bullied at one time or another, or they have a troubled home life. You know what I'm saying? So they go to a school to escape it, and they take out their frustration on people smaller than them because they're smaller in someone else's eyes. And if that's the case, you know what I'm saying? Because quite often that's, you know, if there's a star quarterback or whatever, hypothetical, and their dad's all about sports and he's a bit of an alcoholic, you know what I'm saying, and he has trouble expressing how he feels about it, his dad or whatever, and then so he goes to school and takes it on the nerds, you know, and his grades aren't doing so well, so he kind of, you know, but in order to play football, you know, he takes out his aggression by tackling people, and in a way he'd find a way to be proud in his dad's eyes because his dad's like, oh yeah, my son's a winner, ooh, you know, he plays football, yeah. The kind of dad that brags about him, always drinking buddies at the bar or whatever. And if that's the case, you know what I'm saying, then that's gotta suck. Basically, the jock could have an over-pushing father that expects him to be 110% all the time, that winners always win, losers are no good, and you know, shit like that. And it's just win, 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 you know. Second place isn't good enough, it's not good enough, you know what I'm saying? And that's gotta be stressful on a kid, to always be, you know, forced to achieve the best that they can 100% of the time. And you know what, sometimes we don't do our best in life, and it happens, we're not perfect, you know. So, at the same time, you want to stop the bullying, suspension and detention aren't going to work. It's only going to be like, oh, what'd you rat me out, you little pussy, you little narc, you know, shit like that, basically. But rather, sit down and talk with the bully and the victim, and privately with the counselor, and just talk about it, you know. And sometimes, I know it sounds like a wussy thing to do, you know, because you're brought up in that macho, egotistic lifestyle of men don't talk about their feelings, men don't cry, blah, blah, blah. Dude, fuck that, that's complete bullshit, okay? You know, sit down with the bully and the victim and talk about it. And I know what they're gonna be saying, you know, that's just fucking gay, I ain't gonna do this, fuck this bullshit, blah, blah, whatever. Okay, so then you give the jock motivation to stay with the counseling. You say, look, you don't sit here and talk about this, then I'll take away your football. You can't do that, I tell you bullshit, I can't. I'll write a recommendation to the head of the school and you can just lose your football. And then, you know, and that, alright, fine. So then he talks about his dad, why he's like the way he is, you know, and shit like that. In fact, I would love to see a series on TV where they go around talking, okay, they already have something like that, obviously. I think it's showing MTV where they talk about schools and the bullying and all that. So they do a lot to prevent it, but it's still, like they said, sometimes it still slips through the cracks. And especially in the larger schools, you know, it's a lot harder to keep an eye on students, you know what I'm saying, because there's so many of them and it's a little staff. Like, I understand that too. But, you know, if you're being bullied in school, for instance, it does suck. I agree. But then you turn around and start bullying other people when you're older than the younger ones. Does that make it right? Well, bullying's been around for a long time, obviously, and where did it all start? You know what I'm saying? Because I love to find the fucker I love to find the first bully ever and just give him a piece of my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because he bullies somebody, that someone bullies someone else, and look where it's at right now. You see what I'm saying? This chain reaction, if you will. So sometimes, you know, like the video said here, they do that kind of thing to make themselves heard. Oh, excuse me. It's 4:28 in the morning, so I'm a little tired. But yeah, they do that kind of thing because they feel like, sometimes they feel like that no one listens to them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're going through similar shit in high school with someone else, in puberty, peer pressure, what have you, then why not find a way to relate to them in some way instead of treating them like shit? A little bit of respect would be nice. It would probably be a lot better than trying to force it out of students because, like I said, respect is something you earn, not something you get. You know, I know the golden rule, treat those the way you want to be treated, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Here's a classic example. Recently, when I was in Job Corps, before I went there, the lady there that was signing me up for Job Corps, helped me get signed up for Job Corps, was like, "Oh, Job Corps is nothing like high school, Josh. They have zero tolerance policy for harassment." Excuse me. And she did a damn good job of convincing me of that. But I got to Job Corps and I realized she was full of shit. It's exactly like high school. The only difference is you don't get to leave and they pay you, but a very little sum of money. Don't get me wrong, Job Corps is a great program if you're willing to stick it out and find the right campus, but at the same time, it's like, you know, and it's Job Corps is like our society in a more miniature version, if you will. We had a student in there lose his or her temper and vandalize the pool hall and just tear it to shit, and because of that, we had an assembly instead of our usual launch meetings about the entire campus there to talk about what's going on with our campus here, guys. We're not being very responsible here, blah 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 blah. And the thing with that too is that you rat someone out of Job Corps, you're a snitch. No one likes you, unfortunately. It was like that at Job Corps, and that's unfortunate. Another thing that was up with Job Corps too was the cigarette trade, because quite frankly, this particular Job Corps campus I went to was in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by pine trees, and you only got to go into town every 2 weeks if you had the right color card and you could get on the bus, or if you had money. You know what I'm saying? So cigarettes were like gold up there because people were stressed. There were a lot of smokers up there. Okay. Now it was against the rules to front and sell cigarettes. It's considered sharking. It was $1 for a cigarette and $2 for front on payday, and so it was like an underground market. And it wasn't just cigarettes too, it was food, drinks, whatever, you know. Because they didn't pay you enough at Job Corps, unfortunately, to, yeah. And it got to the point where staff were starting noticing, you know, students were like looking around, smoking a cigarette. Somebody comes up, and you got a cigarette, he's all sitting there. Depends, you got a dollar? I don't. Could each on payday, and it got to the point where students weren't paying people for their cigarette fronts. So a lot of the students were pissed about that. So that just kind of created more drama, and so a lot of times students got their asses kicked for not paying their fronts. Yeah, a couple students that were just moochers off from tobacco, and yeah, I fronted and bought cigarettes, and I made sure I paid everyone off. If I give them one paycheck, I give them the next paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And I was good with paying people off, and that's a good thing to have at Job Corps. Now, it would make more sense if you sold tobacco on campus, you know, at the student store, but it's a government-run facility, so they can't do that because there's minors there, and they want to sell tobacco to minors, but yeah, they let minors smoke on their campus anyway. And they make us think about it. Yeah, if you're a minor, you can't smoke up here until you're 18, but then occasionally they'll check someone's Job Corps student ID if it's a minor on it, you know, and just take your cigarettes or give them a ride up until smoking's bad for you, you know what I'm saying? Which is extremely hypocritical because a lot of the staff members up there smoked as well, because if you thought being a student was tough at Job Corps, I can't imagine being a staff member. But, yeah. Now, if talking doesn't work, and chances are it won't, and you've given staff plenty of warning about this, and, you know, comply with their bullshit, come to someone you trust, ignore it, and walk away, then you fight them. You know, even if you ever live with shit out of you, if you stood up to yourself, you might get some respect from your bully, you might not. I'll give you an example of this. Now, I was bullied pretty much my entire school career, from elementary to high school. And I was in junior high, and I was picked on a lot, and this one guy wouldn't quit leaving me alone. And I had a class with him in junior high. He was bullying me in the classroom, and rather than take him out of the classroom, they took me out of my class, and it was one of my favorite classes too. Which really pissed me off, but at this point, I thought, you know, at the time I thought, well, I got no say in the matter, so I just said, whatever, you know, I didn't want to cause too much trouble. So one day, these kids are giving me shit. It's been on for like a couple months now, just bullying me and shit, and you need to fight this guy's hires. I'm like, no, I'm not fighting this guy, there's no point now, so I started to walk away. But then the group of students that were surrounding us literally shoved me and him out to the courthouse across the street. Tell us, fight. I'm like, alright, fuck this, I'm done. I'm fucking tired of it. I kicked the living shit out of him. I took his head, I slammed against the pine tree, I fucking started choking him out and punching him and shit. And, so I came over, hey, you guys wanted in the principal's office? I'm like, oh, crap. And I talked to the principal, my dad talked to the principal, he's like, look, Mr. Saunders, your son was good, he walked away, but the kid got what he deserved because this guy's a real punk ass, you know, for harassing Saunders and shit. And they told him about the incident at the classroom, and my dad was pissed, you know. He's like, why should my son be taken out of his favorite class if he's being bullied? That ain't fair. And it wasn't. But after that, he didn't pick on me anymore, and he started being nice to me because I stood up for myself. Or because, you know, he should always be with me. You know, I avoid fighting until I have to fight because, you know, you're quick to jump the gun like that and just beat the ever-living shit out of whoever pisses you off. It's not going to get you any friends. So, fight when you have to, you know what I'm saying? That's just how it is with me. Boys, you know, and it's not just in school too, it's online with YouTube and shit, man. And you can't, you know, reach through the internet and punch the person trolling you online, unfortunately. Otherwise, there'd be a lot of black eyes. But the issue at hand is, why do people do it? Because people are trolling them on YouTube, or because, you know what I'm saying? And if you know how it feels to be bullied, why would you do it? I mean, I can understand, too. I was a bully at one point, too. It's because people were bullying me, and I got satisfaction out of bullying this person because he was less of a person than me. And people look at me like I was a scumbag, like, what the fuck is it? And one of my parent-teacher conferences, one of my teachers goes, you know, it just breaks my heart, Josh, you know, sitting there, she was almost crying, like, this guy just wants to be friends with you, and your friend Richard, all you do is treat him like dirt. It's so sad. My dad stood up, like he didn't know who I was. I just sat there with a straight face, like, really? Now you care? Wow. That kind of just blew my mind, because I guarantee you there probably wasn't a teacher conference where the bullies at the schools I went to, or their parents weren't going, it just breaks my heart you're picking on Josh. I know it makes me sound full of myself again, but the thing is, it's just like, oh, now you care? What about when I was being picked on? I know that sounds completely asshole-ish of me. I know it does. But the thing is, if I'm being lectured for it, why aren't they being lectured for it? Another example of this would be my senior year. I took wood shop because I like working with wood. I like making crystal wands and stuff like that. And the majority of my classmates were all just macho, cool, football-playing jocks who loved to work with tools, just, you know, macho man shit. It was like me, my friend Tevin, and this other guy that we had our own table together, and we were the oddballs in the class, and this other chick too. And and I don't think the teacher liked me, to be honest with you. I think he was from an older generation. I came in with my long hair, my rock t-shirts and shit, and you know. And I've seen kids that be so freaking unsafe. It's unbelievable. Right from the teacher doesn't say shit about it, right? And so we got to work with the lathe. Basically, you know what a lathe is. Take a piece of wood, stick it on something, and it can make wands. And when I found out what a lathe was and what it was capable of doing, I got real excited about it, because I thought, oh, that'd be so cool to have. I can make wands and stuff. Sweet. So I'm working on the lathe like I was told to, basically. And my instructor comes over and says, Mr. Saunders, I'm like, kind of machine, yeah? Off the machine, man. I'm like, what's the deal here? He goes, well, some students are coming over and saying you're being unsafe with the machine, and I can't have you doing that, blah, 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 safety hazard. I'm like, I wasn't being unsafe with the machine. That's not what those guys said. And the people that told on me for something I didn't do are watching me across the shop smirking, you know. And it happened so many times that, you know, the tallying for false accusations, that basically the instructor said I wasn't on the machines. So I'm like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? And I tried to explain this to my dad. Of course, he didn't believe me, and which really pissed me off, you know. So I started doing bookwork the rest of that time frame for woodshop. I remember at the end of that class period, someone was working on their clipboards, one of the woodshop projects, and you're supposed to take a set of pliers and clamp the screw down, take it out of the clipboard, clamp it to the pliers, and carefully with some safety goggles grind down the grinder. That way you don't split in the wood and have it flying all over the place and cutting the crap out of people. And we're all about to leave the shop. It was last hour. And one of the people that told on me for supposedly being unsafe with the machinery was doing this. He had his clipboard, and he had the clipboard jammed against the grinder with the screw. Can't even see where the screw is, just with no safety glasses on. Right in front of the fucking teacher. And no one says shit about it. I'm like, are you fucking serious? I was beyond pissed, okay? And this kind of shit's happened my entire life. The hypocrisy of it. And sometimes I'm not even doing what they say I'm doing. And I was livid, you know. And then, so woodshop ends, and we have another chance to select an elective. So I selected small engines because I wanted to work on engines so I could make custom cars. Just something to consider. And guess who was my small engines instructor? My woodshop teacher. Oh, great. I sound like crap. I almost didn't graduate. Now, in order to complete that class and graduate my senior year, I had to put a small lawnmower engine, take it apart, and then put it back together and get it in working condition. Now, the lawnmower engine I got was a piece of shit. The last person who had it didn't put it together correctly, or the parts were bad. So I got it back together, but I couldn't get it running. And I sat there freaking out. Oh, fuck, I'm going to fail my senior year to retake this bullshit. I'm just like, But the woodshop teacher, who was also my small engines teacher, saw that I was putting forth the effort and all that, so he gave me a C. And that was really cool of him, and I barely graduated, man. So, yeah. Now, what can we learn from all this? Well, for one thing, life's unfair, unfortunately. Now, say, for example, you've been accused of a crime that you didn't commit. But if you got a group of people who don't like you for whatever reason, they can band together and say you committed this crime that you didn't commit and get you in trouble and basically get you in jail for however many years the crime they say you committed that you didn't commit is worth. Which is complete bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But it happens, unfortunately. And it's the same thing with Facebook and YouTube. People don't like your video, people don't like your Facebook post, they can flag it as inappropriate or whatever. And again, from together, Facebook and YouTube can go, well, to give you a warning that your content you post is not appropriate, blah, blah, blah. That's happened to me before, and the content I posted was not inappropriate at all. Now, my example of this, of course, would be on Facebook. I like to photo edit some bikini-clad pictures of women and make them look all gothic and scary, and then post it on Facebook to show my friends that whatever, you know. And people were flagging it as pornographic or whatever, and because of that, I got kicked off of Facebook for a week from posting anything. I could still view my page and whatnot, and accept friends' requests and all that. But I got kicked off for posting stuff for a week because of it, and I tried liking a comment, and it said, "You're ignoring the policy. You just got another 2 days." I'm like, seriously? A while back when I had my old YouTube account, I made a video response to a YouTube user, and it was flagged as bullying and or harassment, and because of that, that video got deleted. And it wasn't anything like that. I'd get a little tipsy and leave a smart-ass comment. It wasn't meant as bullying or harassment. It wasn't saying how much this person sucks. It was more like, what the fuck is this guy thinking, you know what I'm saying? And considering that Facebook has pages for bikini models, and considering all of the bullying on YouTube is far worse than what that video supposedly was about, you know? It was extremely hypocritical of Facebook and YouTube, and it pissed me off. So it goes back to what this person said. Bullying will not go away. It'll just get smaller, but it won't go away. And that's unfortunate. It really is. And then we had the tragedy at the college a couple days ago, And I'm just sitting there going, oh, fucking Christ, here we go again. I feel real awful for those families too that lost family members too, especially this time of year where it's Christmas and now they won't get to spend time with their family members because they're dead. I haven't checked for updates on the case yet, but if I find anything new, I'll let you guys know. You know, with the death threats at NC and the murders at the college, all within the same year and within months of each other. And then you hear about the shooting in Colorado at the theater and the shooting in the Muslim temple and Columbine. It's just, when's it gonna stop? You know, when are people gonna wake the fuck up and realize, oh geez, this is kind of a pattern here. Maybe we can do something to stop it. Just maybe. But they don't. At least, I don't think they try hard enough because they're too busy grieving and trying to find an excuse as to why it happened. Who the fuck cares why it happened? It happened, it sucks, and you have some sort of power to change it, so why not change it? And feel free to disagree with me in the comment section below. I don't care. I'm just saying my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. If anything, when the PC is posted and if people like the song that I'm working on right now, you know, Society Creates Killers, then yeah, it's going to send a message because I've seen these documentaries on these serial killers throughout history, you know, and it's the usuals. The parents are bad, you know, they're fucked up individuals with no lives or social awkward, whatever. And they feel unwanted, unloved, and to get that satisfaction, they kill people because they're messed up in the head. So it's kind of society and the person's fault at the same time. It's kind of, you know, the combination of the two. But it can be avoided. This kind of thing can be avoided with the proper training, the counseling, and some logic. It can be avoided and it can be fixed. To a certain degree, to where you know the signs, you know the symptoms, you know what's going to happen, and you can stop the fire before it gets too big. You get what I'm saying? At least I hope you do, otherwise I just wasted almost an hour long rambling about nothing. Until then, this is King Cobra Javaz from the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.